In my intro video, I am Luna. I talk a little bit about how I got the name Luna, and it actually came from doing sound healings on myself, and then actually attending a live sound healing is where I first was almost implanted the name on a visual journey that I went on through a sound healing that was done with the keyboard. So now sound healings can be done with all types of instruments, really any instrument. If the intention is there for there to be a healing effect coming through the music, it will in fact be there. There are all types of sound healings being done today with various instruments, from the gong to crystal bowls to the keyboard, even guitar, didgeridoo, pretty much any instrument with the intention of sound healing is going to have an effect. Now, it does have a lot to do with how much the person doing the sound healing is in tune with the instruments or is in tune with their own divine self, and how strong their intention is for the healing to happen. And also the receiver, if the receiver has a strong intention for a healing to happen, then it is definitely bound to happen. It's going to happen anyway on a subtle level, but with the higher intention, there will be a more intense effect. So again, like I've said, I've been to multiple types of sound healings, from simply gong meditations, crystal bowl healings, to live sound healings done with multiple instruments, from didgeridoos, drums, Tibetan bowls. The voice is another great tool for sound healing. I have used my own voice in healing myself and activating my chakras for years now, and it has really helped me to tune myself, because I see the body as an instrument, just the same as another instrument would be. Our bodies need to be tuned just the same as any other instrument. That's why we use tuning forks. They send the body a certain vibration or frequency that can raise it, and actually, from my belief and understanding, is that it can almost make our cells vibrate at a higher frequency. So you think about this when you work with water, from Dr. Emoto's experiments, and how when you send a certain frequency or energy into water, it affects the cellular state of that water. So for example, if you're sending in lower vibrations, like I don't like you, I hate you, into water, it's going to cause the water to get dark, murky, ugly, and when you look at it with a microscope, it looks yuck or chaotic or disturbed in some way. Whereas opposed to the water that you send the high vibrational messages to, I love you, etc., it has a different state that looks more beautiful and appreciated. Okay, so you think about this, our bodies are made up of mostly water. So we are also affected by our environments and the words and the frequencies that are emitted around us. So a great way to raise your frequency or to clear your frequency is by attending a sound healing or doing a sound healing on yourself, using, again, the instruments I said, crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, drums, gongs, guitar, really any instrument that you tune yourself and or your voice, and you have the intention of having a healing effect on the receiver, whether that be yourself or somebody else. Okay, so if you've never been to a sound healing before, kind of what to expect is you typically will be laying down. It's great to have blankets. It's great to totally surrender to the energy and to the sound healing. You'll go into a meditative state and you'll receive the benefits of the sound healing. Now, the gongs, by the way, are the most intense. So gongs can help you release a lot of emotion. So it might be kind of hard sometimes. Different instruments are going to have different effects. Crystal bowls have more of a higher activating frequency, so kind of activate you into the higher chakras, opening your connection with your divine self, where drums, for example, are more grounded and rooted, and you'll will make you have a deeper connection with the earth's energies. So it depends kind of on the energy and as well the intention by the musician. Now, or I say musician, but you don't have to be a musician to do a sound healing. Because if you are in a flow state or an open receptive state, whatever sound comes through is absolutely perfect and divine. There's no theory, there's no really musical theory behind it, or you don't really need an understanding. You just need kind of the ability to play the instrument or to sing, because any of these techniques are going to have a profound effect. So again, I've been on various sound healing journeys, from gongs to crystal bowls, and one of my favorite sound healers and sound healings that I've ever been to is with a man named Three Trees in Sedona, Arizona, and he does these live sound healings in his basement. And what he does is he plays various instruments, from drums, he uses his voice, I believe he uses bowls as well. He might use didgeridoo, like some shakers, all kinds of different instruments. And he doesn't have anything pre-planned. You never have anything pre-planned out, really, in sound healing. Just kind of allow whatever to come through. And he sets it up very nicely, so you're laying down, you got blankets on you, you close your eyes, and it's about an hour and a half of this awesome sound healing. And what he'll do is he'll loop certain instruments or loop his voice during the healing, so it comes off as this beautiful musical experience. He is a trained musician, so it is that just heightens it even more, because he has more ability and flexibility in using the instruments. And okay, this particular sound healing was very profound for me because of the visual journey that I went on. Now, other sound healings that I've been to, I've had an awesome experience, but I didn't always have the same visual experience. Sometimes I just totally surrender and I kind of black out almost and just allow this healing to happen. But in this particular place, it was awesome because of this journey I went on. And there were all these different things that led up to this. Now, if you've never been to Sedona, you know already that it's kind of a magical fairy tale place, right? Profound things happen there if you go there with that kind of intention, typically. So earlier that day, I was looking at crystals, browsing around in the different shops in Sedona, and I went to one shop where they had a velociraptor egg. Okay, that was really cool to me. I love Jurassic Park. I love velociraptors. And I got to hold the egg, and it was so cool. Okay, so that was just kind of leading up to this sound healing. I had various kind of profound things happen to me that day, but then I went into this sound healing, totally surrendered, and I went on this crazy visual journey. I went all the way back in time to the time of the dinosaurs. It was like I was going through my past lives and my cellular DNA, because I believe that our DNA is passed on as time goes on. So we actually have access to various times in history that our genetic DNA comes from. Now, this is a little strange because I went back to the time of the dinosaurs and I had such a divine experience that I was viewing my life from the eyes of a velociraptor. I was a velociraptor, and I was hunting or traveling in this prehistoric era and seeing other dinosaurs, and that was just like kind of mind-blowing. Okay, so I went through this stage as a velociraptor, and then I crazy, might sound crazy, but then I transformed into a dragon. So it was like my dinosaur self, my velociraptor self, actually ascended or evolved and transformed into a dragon. That was cool. Okay, so this could all just be my mind making it up, but regardless, it was a very transformational experience, and I view it as my past lives and as who I was at one point in my existence. So I transformed into a dragon. I also transformed into various people after that. So I was a shaman at one point. I saw myself as a very ancient old woman. I even saw myself as a gorilla, as various animals. And another profound life that so I saw myself as through these various lives, and I saw myself through these different lenses. And this was all during a sound healing. There were no drugs involved or anything like that. It was all purely from the intention and the sound coming through and the experiences that led up to it to help me have this almost past life regression within myself, and this healing that truly I was doing to myself, but Three Trees was being the activator there through the music and the sound and helping me to have this experience, and it was amazing. So I want to tell you about one other experience that I had where I believe it was a different sound healing, but it was with Three Trees again. And I actually met a jaguar, a black jaguar in the jungle. And when I met this jaguar, she actually killed me and she devoured me. And for some reason, this experience was so almost orgasmic on some levels. It was so peaceful and blissful and just kind of like amazing that she killed me and ate me. And what happened after is that I became her. I became the queen of the jungle in this, again, another sound healing, just this visuals that I had because I was in a receptive mode and I was open to receiving any insight, and I was triggered through this musical awakening done again by Three Trees. So these are just examples of the profound awakening experiences, past life regression that you can have because of a sound healing. Again, on a cellular level, the music is penetrating your cells and activating dormant memories within you and helping them come to the surface. So you might feel a major just emotional release. You might be able to let go of things that you've been holding on to, maybe even unconsciously. So or it'll have even these visual experiences come on. You might not have these visual experiences. Like I said, these don't happen at every sound healing for me. They only happen, really, they've only happened to that extent with this one particular person in Sedona. I've gone to other sound healings with simply crystal bowls and a gong and various things, and even multiple people doing all these sounds, but yet I didn't have that same visual experience. I simply kind of blacked out almost and completely surrendered and just went into the silence and in myself and had this great healing experience. Of course, you'll feel the effects after. You just always know that something is being released, or if you go in there with the intention of, I want to release something that's no longer serving me, or maybe you go in there with the intention of, I want to have clarity of who I am and where I came from, and maybe you'll have an experience like I had, where you see yourself in all these different lifetimes as different beings or different creatures. Or maybe you'll even have an experience where you meet your higher self, or you meet your guides, or you go back and talk to your ancestors. This is all possible with sound healing. That is why it is so profound, because many of you might be seeking out other things like ayahuasca or doing magic mushrooms or things like that. I've experienced, or DMT, I've experimented with some of these things, but, and you know, they have a time and place. However, you don't need them, okay? You don't need the drugs or the psychedelics to have these profound experiences. Just go to a sound healing. It's great to go to one with somebody who knows what they're doing, or just someone who has the intention of creating an experience for you and providing the space for you to have a spiritual awakening or a true spiritual connection with your higher self. This is a little bit of my experience with sound healing. It is an amazing tool for spiritual awakening and transformation, and I highly recommend it. I'll be sharing with you more information on singing and doing that for yourself, to do sound healing on yourself through toning and other things, and using tuning forks and all these kind of different things are great. Okay, they definitely work. I don't care if there's not exact scientific research done on this, okay, because I've had results. I have experience, and I have felt the emotional release and the awakening and the expansion within myself from coming out of these type of sound journeys. okay? If you're going to do any type of healing for yourself, you're looking ways to have more self-love, go to a sound healing, because it definitely is going to help you, okay? Just look for them in your area, you know, go to Meetup, find them on Facebook. It's a great way to meet people in your tribe and connect, and again, to have these profound experiences, because there are more and more people doing them all over the world. So go out there and find your local sound healers, because you'll be really glad that you did afterwards, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I am lunarastarshine, and if you liked this video, please like, please comment, subscribe. Be sure to follow me on Instagram for more updates, and I look forward to our next encounter. Namaste.